Hello, I'm DC Robs. Today we're going to be watching The Information War by John Green. Um, this is my second take of this. Unfortunately, the audio got messed up the first time, so you're not getting a raw reaction. But in this video, Mr. Green here goes over the desperation of trying to reach across the aisle, trying to talk and communicate with people that you disagree with. Um, he does not believe that this video is going to get to the other side. I, and and part of the reason why I'm remaking this video is I believe it's important to get the information out that it is reaching the other side, and that we have to continue to keep trying to do everything in our power to lower the temperature across America. So, without further ado, let's go over The Information War by John Green.
Tuesday. I'm having a very hard time talking about what is currently happening in my country, but I'm also having a very hard time not talking about it. Like 2 weeks ago, a 2-year-old child was kidnapped by the federal government despite a court order not to do so.
So I don't know what that is specifically referring to. However, um, what the left has done in the past is they will take an incident in which a mother and father or the guardians were arrested and the state had to take the child in and say that the whatever agency kidnapped the child or arrested the child or detained the child and try to make it this big deal. Um, Imagine if a cop pulled over a drunk driver and in the back seat was an infant, right? The cop isn't just going to leave the infant in the car, right? He's going to have to call someone to get the kid. And if no one of the family can come get it, then it becomes a ward of the state. So again, without the specifics of the incident he is referring to, I'm going to assume that that is what is happening. Um, Throughout this video, I'll probably bring up the benefit of the doubt. Um, this is one of those things where I have to give the benefit of the doubt to the agency that they're not just rounding up kindergartners, you know. So let's keep going.
Weeks ago, a 2-year-old child was kidnapped by the federal government despite a court order not to do so. Many people have died in the custody or at the hands of immigration officials in the United States, and it is very difficult to trust the official accounts of those deaths when, in the 2 cases that have been videotaped, federal officials have clearly and obviously lied.
Okay, so one, never trust the government, always verify. Two, was it right that the government, when we say the government, we're specifically referring to the president, Kash Patel, um, lying? No, that is not acceptable. And know that people on the right, the voters, uh, do not do not accept some of the framing. For example, the idea that you shouldn't protest without a gun or that you shouldn't have multiple magazines on you is absolutely crazy. Most of the people who I know that carry with multiple magazines with them just in case. So, no, do not convince or do not mix up Republican politicians with Republican voters. We are vastly different. Um, and just to inform you, a lot of Republican voters see Trump, Tulsi Gabbard. We still see them as the Democrats that they are. So we are not surprised when they still have citizen disarmament beliefs. It's just one of the things that you have to, hold your nose and vote for. Or when you vote for them, you just have to hold your nose and vote for them. As for the shootings themselves, listen, I know you don't like it, but the uh, good case, it was a lawful shoot. You can't try to you can't have blatant disregard for someone's life, not just police officers, any anyone. Anyone in that position, it would have been a lawful shoot. Um, And you don't want to hear that, but that's just the facts. If someone doesn't care about your life and you need to defend yourself, that is one of the tools at your disposal. That's what it is. As for the Pretty case, that was extremely, extremely unfortunate. And if it goes to court, I understand why. Um, yeah, it is a dirty, messy business. It really is. I would encourage you guys on the left specifically, go out, take a safety firearms course, and get your concealed carry. There are courses that out there that will walk you through when a good shoot happens, when a bad shoot, and they'll actually run scenarios where you have to like make the decision on whether or not you should draw or not. And they are not crisp, clean lines. They get very, very difficult. Um, the Pretty case is one of those times. So it is unfortunate. My heart goes out to his family. Oh, it's sad.
States, and it is very difficult to trust the official accounts of those deaths when, in the 2 cases that have been videotaped, federal officials have clearly and obviously lied. But I worry that even in saying that, I have lost the 2% of people who are going to watch this video who I really want to reach. I simply don't.
You haven't lost me. And honestly, I don't actually think you lost the people you think you did. If they're here, they already know. They already want to know your perspective. We have a deep respect for people on the other side. Um, Sometimes our confrontational tendencies get in the way of that. We come off more aggressive than we probably would otherwise like to. But if we're already here, we're already listening. So I'm I'm glad you're reaching out. I wish you guys would have started reaching out back in 2016, but better late than never.
Don't know how to talk about this stuff. But I worry that even in saying that, I have lost the 2% of people who are going to watch this video who I really want to reach. I simply don't know how to talk about this stuff online because we are so profoundly, unprecedentedly siloed in our information distribution systems that we simply don't hear each other, and when we do hear each other, it's very difficult to actually listen to each other.
So I will say, as much as you may not believe it, that is more of a left problem. Um, the right doesn't really have the same credentialism or elitism. We don't value the likes of CNN or MSNBC. We don't venerate journalists. Like that's not a job, right? Like to us that's just everyone's a journalist. Do you have a journal? Do you have a camera? Then you're a journalist. There and I understand that there are more in depth. There's some uh, not morals, but ethics, a code of ethics that needs to be brought up. But in general, it's not really like the people on the right don't consider it a true profession. That being said, um, with that idea of credentialism, you guys end up siloing yourselves off. People on the right will listen to practically everyone. I listen to TYT, Secular Talk, uh, was it Crystal Ball and Friends? Um, who else? Jimmy Dore, Vosh. Like these are all people on the left that I watch. Is there anyone on the right that you guys watch? Is there anyone on the right you guys have the slightest bit of respect? I don't know. But if you want a recommendation, try Tim Pool. He's a liberal, so he might have the best takes that you guys can absorb. Um, as for that, we, yes, both sides are siloed off, but one side is putting up the walls.
I mean, it's not like this video is other information distribution systems, that we simply don't hear each other, and when we do hear each other, it's very difficult to actually listen to each other. I mean, it's not like this video is going to reach a representative sample of America, Hank. According to a recent Nerdfighteria census, more people in this community voted for Jill Stein than Donald Trump. I can't reach...
I took that census, by the way. That is wild. That more... Wow. I talk about being a minority in a minority. Holy cow. But it doesn't matter if you only reach one person. If everyone tries to reach just one person, then we can actually make progress. So, Mr. Green, your attempt has made progress, I guess is the best way to put it.
Nerdfighteria census, more people in this community voted for Jill Stein than Donald Trump. I can't reach across the aisle effectively because no people on the other side of the aisle are going to hear me, and in turn, I don't hear them. What I hear are the most obnoxious, despicable, and outrageous takes among those I disagree with, and then I extrapolate that all people I disagree with must share those takes, thereby hardening my silo.
And the right does the same thing too. And it is very hard not to. When you start your car in the morning, if it works, you don't think about everything that it took to make it work. But if something goes wrong, that's what you focus on. It's just how we've built society. It's just how we're designed, right? There's too many things that go right in our day to day that if we focused on all that, we wouldn't be able to do anything. So that being said, when someone's screeching at the top of their lungs, it draws our attention to it, and it's more salacious.
Are the most obnoxious, despicable, and outrageous takes among those I disagree with, and then I extrapolate that all people I disagree with must share those takes, thereby hardening my silo. I don't know how to break down those silos. I can't even convince my own MAGA family members that people who were murdered were in fact murdered. Like, even though...
So this is a problem. You're starting at the wrong place. You are assuming that you are correct, and that the other side is just misinformed. So I just need to inform them to bring them to my side. You're doing this wrong. Okay? Take your stance, take their stance, assume the truth is somewhere in between those 2 points, and then calibrate accordingly based off of expertise, right? For example, if Mr. Green has one stance, he should probably talk to a police officer, right? And then accept that police officer probably has some more specialization in the topic than he might. I still respect. I'm happy he's making this video, but that is a really, really, really big problem. That if you're just if you count it as only people I convince to my side, then I'm not winning. Then you're doing this wrong. You have to accept the fact that we all get stuff wrong. We are all susceptible to propaganda, and that sometimes we get blindsided, and that happens, right? It is what it is.
Share those takes, thereby hardening my silo. I don't know how to break down those silos. I can't even convince my own MAGA family members that people who were murdered were in fact murdered. Like, even though Alex Preddy had both hands on the ground and was disarmed when he was shot 10 times, it doesn't look like murder to some of my family members. Even though 67% of the homicides this year in Minneapolis have been committed by ICE, they still feel that the streets are unsafe and need to be made safer. I guess I can talk about it from a historical perspective, since I've read a lot of history. The rule of law in the United States has never been applied fairly or justly. I mean, from witch hunting to lynchings to executions, state-sponsored, state-sanctioned killing have long been part of the American story. On that,
how are you supposed to fairly apply the law to American citizens when this law is specifically targeting elite? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're obviously not going to arrest Jim next door because he was born and raised here. His family died so that way he can have the standard of living that he has today. Compared to, Jose or Juan or, Philip, who jumped over or came across. Yeah. Like, do you want us to go after the French people? Okay, I'm down. Let's get rid of the French people too that have overstayed their visas. I don't know how many there are, right? I don't know how we exactly catch them, but sure, I'm down. You're not going to hear me complain. Um, or the Italians that overstayed, or the English that overstayed, or the Polish that overstayed. I don't care. I don't care. You are here illegally. We have a process. You have to go through the process. That's I don't know what you want. Like this law has been on the book for years, for decades. Right? If someone broke into your house and was sleeping on your couch, you would call the cops and they would remove the person off of your couch. That's what we're doing, right? If For you to say that this is unfairly targeting people is like saying, "Oh, well, you're just enforcing this law against people who are sleeping on your couch." It's like, yeah, because they're trespassing. It's we're not arresting them because they like, I don't know, to live in a house. We're not doing that. We're getting rid of them because they have specifically broken these laws. I'm sorry. That's the second really bad take.
Justly. I mean, from witch hunting to lynchings to executions, state sponsored, state sanctioned killing have long been part of the American story. On that level, I suppose there's nothing new here, but here's what is new, at least in my view. The executive branch of our government is claiming and being allowed to claim widespread powers to detain people living inside the United States without much interference from the other branches of government.
It's not that, oh, you're living here. It's that they're here illegally. Like, that's the part you're missing. We're not just going through rounding up every single. We're not going through just carpet bagging all of fucking L.A. being like, you voted blue. We got to send you to Canada. Like, that's not what we're doing. It's, oh, Mr. Johnston, you're not supposed to be in this country. We'll send you home. That's ridiculous.
People living inside the United States without much interference from the other branches of government. Or I suppose I can talk about it from a religious perspective, which might resonate across ideological lines. I believe in a God who chose to be born human to poor parents in a foreign land. This God grew up to preach good news to the poor and the hungry and the imprisoned. This God literally said, "I was a stranger and you took me in." But at this point in the video,
he also said, "Render unto Caesar." Right? And to be fair, I think trying to use religion in this case is probably not a great move, right? It's not quite probably not the way you want this to go, but you have to obey the laws. Jesus was innocent, right? And he still submitted to the laws of the land. It's, what you want to use religion? What do you have to say about that? So
I fear I'm only preaching to the choir, who will of course tell me that I'm right, and if anything, I'm not going far enough. And I worry all that does is harden our silos, which of course means that I have my own unchecked cognitive biases, but I don't know how to check them in a world where my information distribution system has the architecture it currently has.
all right, we give people the benefit of the doubt. Find someone you don't give the benefit of the doubt to, and then listen to them. All right, find someone that you maybe it's Ben Shapiro, maybe it's Steven Crowder. Like I said, I recommended Tim Pool because he's super Luke. He's lefty. He's a liberal. Like, he makes me sick with some of his takes. Um, Pick one, any of them, and listen. Not Candace Owens. Don't pick Candace Owens. Don't do that one. That one's bad. But um, but yeah. So yeah, that's what you have to do. You just find someone on the other, and don't listen to Fox News. For the love of God, do not listen to Fox News. They've never truly represented the Republican Party. They've just been the one with the loudest megaphone for the longest time. That's, find someone on independent media on the right that you can stomach to listen to. All right.
which of course means that I have my own unchecked cognitive biases, but I don't know how to check them in a world where my information distribution system has the architecture it currently has. I mean, do the people who respond to memes and deepfakes with their own memes and deepfakes have the right approach? I don't know. Does that undermine whatever credibility I have with those who might disagree with me? Or does it in fact encourage resistance to an increasingly authoritarian government? I really don't know what the right strategy is, and I'm not convinced that anyone does, because while there are many precedents for our current historical moment, in none of those cases was the social internet as big a deal as it is now.
So, I can't remember the founding father. One of our founding fathers did say, the man who doesn't read the newspaper is more educated than the man that does. This has been an ongoing problem since forever, right? Someone will write a piece of lie and they'll ship it off, and then someone has to come back behind it with the truth. The only difference is that instead of it being 3 months, it's now 3 hours. The problem is not that more misinformation is out and about. The problem is the information is being fixed so fast that it's in your face when there's different points of view coming out. So, this is not a new problem. It's just it is a problem we come across more often now, right? So before you would get the news once a day, now you get the news once an hour. So it seems like there's more, but it's really not. Or it seems like there's a bigger effect, but there's not really a bigger effect. I guess is the better way to put it.
Our ways of distributing information in the past were much slower and less fractured. If I sound a little freaked out, Hank, that's because I am. I am heartbroken, I am enraged, but I am also scared. This level of divisiveness, the willingness to tell big and easily disprovable lies, the blaming of disenfranchised communities, the failure of institutions to rein in government overreach.
So yes, we have the separation of powers, but ultimately we decide the size of government. And right now, it is way, way too large, and we all need to vote to shrink it way, way down.
This level of divisiveness, the willingness to tell big and easily disprovable lies, the blaming of disenfranchised communities, the failure of institutions to rein in government overreach, all of that should scare us. But does that mean I should be on Twitter or X? Does this video make anything better or indeed anything worse? I don't know.
I would say it does make it better. Why? Because people on the right haven't really seen anyone on the left reach out across the aisle. Every time someone has, it's been on the right reaching out. And you guys shut down. Charlie Kirk was reaching across the aisle and he got shot for it, right? And obviously I'm not saying that every person on the left was cheering for it, but like that's you can't have someone trying to speak and then have them silenced and then be like, oh, well, why isn't the other side reaching out across the aisle? We are. If you know someone, and maybe this is a blind spot, if you know someone on the left that tries to do a change my mind, if you know someone on the left who goes to college campuses like Charlie Kirk did, if you know anyone like that who is trying to, in good faith, reach across the aisle, let me know. Comment and tell me that I'm an idiot because, Shirley Jackson does this every day. Seriously.
That should scare us. But does that mean I should be on Twitter or X? Does this video make anything better or indeed anything worse? I don't know. I do think real-life collective action matters. Protests, videotaping, making one's voice heard inside and outside the ballot box. But I don't know what if anything, to be doing online. That said, Hank, there is mounting evidence that despite everything, the truth does retain power. I often feel like the social internet just reinforces people's pre-existing worldviews while further isolating them from countervailing information, but I'm starting to think it's not that simple. Like, polling indicates there are real changes happening among the US voting public, which has shifted by over 20% on the subject of ICE just in the last few months. So at least for now, I think the truth does have some power that I worried it had lost amid the memes and deepfakes, which, for the moment at least, is where I am finding hope, albeit, I will confess, a bit of a thin-lit hope. Hank, I'll see you on Friday. Good morning, Hank.
So that was a good video. I appreciate their reaching across the aisle. In fact, I appreciate it so much I'm doing this video twice. So I apologize. I'm going to try to make sure that these audio issues don't happen again. But this one was way too important for me to just pass up. So, yes, I'll keep you guys in my prayers. And please, we need to both reach across the aisle and find someone and just try to understand each other, just so we can turn down the temperature at least. Again, sorry if I didn't speak enough or as much as you were expecting, but audio troubles. Am I right? Well, I'm DC Robs, reminding you, DC Robs. I'll see you later.